Welcome to the Smart CEO Smart Chat. I am Kyra Hardwick, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this episode will be an incredible influence on the way that you do the work that you do every day. So whether you're a smart CEO, working from home, working from the office, simply navigating your life and family, whatever it is, today's the day you made a great decision to tune into our podcast and get this smart talk. So let's dig in. Hello. I am Kyra Rénel, and welcome to this episode of the Smart Talk Podcast. I am, as usual, thrilled to be here with you today, and I am excited to bring to you an opportunity to get to know one of my colleagues, Michelle M. Chenault. She's going to talk to us from the lens of the consulting space that she occupies, where one thing we love to do at the Smart Talk Podcast is to connect with real leaders doing real work every day. Our goal is to make sure that you always have an understanding of the journey that CEOs go on, that you can find your way in your journey and make it easier, make it smoother for you as we take time to have conversations of incredible value with leaders like Michelle. Michelle, welcome to the Smart Talk Podcast.
Thank you, Kyra. You know, it's an absolute honor to be here. As I told you, I followed you all through the pandemic. So I'm so happy to be in your space right now.
Oh, phenomenal. You know what, Michelle, that's amazing. I actually want to hear a little bit about that because I think it's important for us to understand some of that origin and where our connections really started. Michelle, before we get into that, if you don't mind, just a brief intro. I know you as a fellow mastermind coach. I know you as a fellow consultant, but I'd love for you to share with the listeners of the Smart Talk podcast exactly who you are and what kind of brilliance you bring to the world.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Michelle Chenault, born and raised in Northern California, just outside of San Francisco. And I did not graduate high school. I moved around too much by virtue of my father's employment. And so when it came time to graduate, I didn't have enough credits for the school district I was in. So I went on later to get a GED, and for years just took on different jobs. And I was always asked, where did I graduate college? And it was so embarrassing because I didn't even graduate high school. So late in life, I went on to get my bachelor's degree in political science. My goal was to go on to being an attorney. And I got a little sidetracked in running political campaigns. My political science professor thought that would be a great thing for me to do. So I went and did that. When I graduated with my bachelor's in political science, I had a great opportunity to be a campaign head for a local politician. And I met someone who said, hey, I need someone to write this proposal for me. Can you do that? They wanted to get funding for government funding to do real estate development. And I said, sure, let me do that. I enjoyed that so much that I quit the campaign trail and went on to starting my own consulting firm. And so I worked in that real estate arena for quite some time until 2008, 2009, when the whole bottom fell out of the real estate market. And at that time, I decided, let me do a little something different, got a job, didn't like it, went back to the consulting world. All the while, I'm still in Northern California. And then I decided, let me get a master's degree so that I can then go on and work for a management consulting firm. Because I thought, no more small mom and pop stuff. Let me go to the big leagues. And I went to Mills College, which is a historically women's college in Oakland. And I went to their graduate program and I enjoyed my time there. I got my degree and realized, yeah, management consulting world is not for me. I love my mom and pops.
Michelle, the journey. Okay, keep going. I'm at the edge of my seat, quite frankly.
And I have to say, in between there, I moved to Houston in 2013. I was in the middle of my master's program. I was naive. I didn't know you can't transfer credits from certain colleges for master's programs. So I had to move back to California to finish my program. It took me another 2 years to get back to Houston, moved back in January 2020. The best decision I've ever in my life made because I was here during the pandemic. And I was able to meet in person Miss Shirley Brooks, the former director of the Women's Business Center, who really helped make everything worthwhile and helped me really get my feet wet in the Houston landscape. And that's where I found Miss Kyra through the Women's Business Center. Miss Shirley always spoke highly of you. And that led me to following you on social media and looking how you build and grew your business as well as support others. And then also, one more thing is the pandemic helped me pivot my business and get more succinct. I was always called a master at what is it? You can do everything, but a master of none. And I really started honing in on government contracting, certification, compliance, back office systems, and just coaching women business owners through the ABCs of running a business and managing and balancing their lives.
And then that's the end of the podcast, everyone. Prepare you for a roadmap to start your business. There it is. Michelle, that was phenomenal. Literally one of the best journeys, right? That bore this amazing consulting mind that you have. And I love the fact that you took us there. So literally, no high school graduation. That opportunity did not happen. You took matters in your own hands, got the GED, decided, okay, I'm going to start moving around and moving and shake and jump right into politics, which is such a weird space to jump into. Your mind must have already been very curious about political science. I'd love to hear a little bit about that. And then you took this beautiful journey to not only increase the quality of your knowledge through education, but to increase and enhance, I would imagine, your level of esteem, your level of focus, your level of confidence, your level of approach, your level of access as a result of going on this journey to really just build. Like you built,
Yes.
you literally built. And I'm telling you, I am fascinated by that. I just, before we get to the magnificent Shirley, that's for everybody in a moment. But before we get to her, I'd love to hear a little bit about like where your mind was on the journey when you realized that politics was a lane that you really wanted to pursue a bit. That's a curious lane for you to jump into.
Yeah, it was. So again, since I didn't graduate high school, I went back to college late in life. And it was just, let's see, it was around 28 years old when I went to college, and I went to the local community college, Contra Costa Community College in San Pablo, California, which I love that school. And my one of my first professors was a political science teacher. And he took me under his wings. I was the only older or returning student, as they like to call us, in the classroom. And he was like, "Yeah, you got to do this extra credit assignment outside of class in order to pass the course." I said, "Okay, sure. What do you recommend?" And there was a woman, an African American woman, running for mayor. She was going to be the first Black female mayor of Richmond. And he
Wow.
said, "I know her. I've known her for years. She was a city councilwoman at that time." He said, "I can get you a volunteer position on our campaign." And that's what led my journey into political science. I
Wow.
loved it. It was so exciting. I'm a social butterfly. So, as in politics, there's always events to go to. So, it was right up my alley. And it really brought me close to my professor. He's since passed, but he was so pivotal in my time at that school.
Yeah,
So, I
that's
did that.
huge.
Mhm.
That's huge, Michelle. When you think about, and I wanted to open that up because you never know what kind of those milestone moments were, but those moments that really become the catalyst for your catapult, I'll call it. And that was a huge leap into a space and a lane where you were able to consume information, learn processes, learn their system, learn their methodology for the campaigns, which is its own beast.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I'm telling you, I remember, Michelle, I cannot remember the candidate, but I remember being asked, would I help manage a campaign? And I don't really turn many opportunities down, but I was like, listen, I have a nonprofit. I am a non-biased, nonpartisan party out here. I represent my organizations, and I will not be representing directly a political party because I knew that was going to be a beast. One, and then two, ethically, my nonprofit keeps me in a position where that's not an option. But it
Yeah.
was such an incredible opportunity. But Michelle, that is a mech. It's an organism that is just like live matter, five heads at times. I
Yeah, you'd be amazed at those backdoor conversations really happen, even at the
absolutely,
local level where you think it doesn't matter. The
yeah,
negotiations, the promises, It was that's why I got out of it so easily,
Yeah.
because I'm like, no, this is a little bit past my level of integrity and comfortability.
You know what I love though? This is a total secret look into my life. I love political science, movies, series, anything that has to do with political scandal, that kind of silent agent kind of a thing, secret agent thing. I love movies like that. And I remember someone asking me like what was my favorite movie, and people are always surprised when I tell them like my favorite movie of all times are is Die Hard. Like it really is. And it's
Oh,
like if you
really?
don't know, yes. If you don't not just Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, 3, but Die Hard, it is like all those things plus action. And it's just like this crazy hodgepodge of scandal that's happening. So you can imagine all the other shows that have come out since then or movies. I
Yeah.
love those kind of when I that's like an ideal Saturday or Sunday afternoon for me. I'm locked in. If I can catch a good one. And there's some new series. I just finished a new series too. The is it called the Whole Man or something like that? It's on Netflix right now.
Okay.
We'll have to drop a note in there because I probably butchered the name, but that series is limited, but it was pretty good. Right. Things you didn't know. A little known Black history fact. But to get into your journey, Michelle, moving down this beautiful pathway that you've taken and you own it fully. And I love the fact that it has literally, I think, bred probably one of the most incredible and dynamic business minds because you've had to learn the way of intersection and surpassing or I should say achieving a man in full. Thank you, Kayla. It is called A Man. I knew I messed it up. A Man in Full. That is the Netflix series. Catch it if you can. And by all means, it was a good one. When you think about Michelle, this journey and how you've navigated these intersections, you spoke about coming to Houston early in 2013 and then realizing you needed to get back to California to finish your degree, coming back during the pandemic. You made a statement. You said coming to Houston during the pandemic was one of the best things you could have done. Help us understand that a little bit more.
It was wonderful because life stopped only a little bit here in Houston. And I have to admit, I'm not fully vetted in Houston politics, but what I was exposed to enough during that time, I understood that I embraced the politics and how the country, how the state was managed
Mhm.
during that time. With the Women's Business Center, Shirley brought me on as a mastermind, excuse me, and I was able to meet with women business owners on almost a daily basis via Zoom in order to help them so that they can start qualifying for the EIDL loan or the PPP loans. And it was amazing. So many women business owners weren't properly set up.
Yes.
And so it was like trying to hurry up and rush to get it, or just understanding they just weren't going to be able to qualify. And that was crushing. But that, I want to say 6 months of that constant meeting with these women business owners and that Zoom experience, and secretly some of us met in person, but we were all safe. No one was sick. But it was the most amazing time of my
Mhm.
life as an entrepreneur. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the most amazing time. I met with some amazing women, amazing business concepts. And if it weren't for that connection with Miss Shirley, and we stayed connected constantly during that time, constantly thinking of
Yeah.
what can we do differently? What do we need to add to the programming? How can we make this presentation better? It was just, yeah, I get chills
Yeah.
just remembering and speaking on it.
And for those listening, the Women's Business Center is a part of the Women's Business Enterprise, which is the WBEA, which is the Houston regional office for WeBank, which is the organization that certifies women business owners and on a national level. And that is led by President April Day, Dr. April Day. Shirley Brooks is the former director of the Women's Business Center, which is basically the step before you get your certification. It's that space where you go to incubate. And Michelle, I was a mastermind coach for 5 years.
Ooh,
And going through that process at the Women's Business Center, I literally donated about 5 hours a week on Tuesdays for 5 years consistently when we were in person and then when we went to Zoom, obviously shifting to that platform. Part of the journey, and I can completely agree with you, is listening to, learning, and helping these women get to a position of readiness in their business. getting through the hurdles of a business plan, getting through the hurdles of the mental blocks, the shifts, the emotional challenges that they face, getting to the structure and the development and the processes and the marketing and the activation and the launching of their businesses. And that was such a rewarding process. And knowing that those women were in an incubator, so to speak, where they could go from development from master with mastermind coaches, and they could choose all of us if they wanted to at no cost, like that, access to us at no cost, and then positioning themselves to get in line for certification.
Right.
That is a huge imprint that we made on the city. And I'll say we made on the city's leaders, on the city's business owners. And you coming in COVID when people, I don't even know what the percentage was of business owners or people that moved into business ownership during COVID, but it
Mm,
was so transformational and it was so powerful. So, not only the ones that needed access so they could qualify for funding, and but those that needed guidance so they could actually do something they've always wanted to do because this was the time to do it,
exactly.
to take a leap. Like that was a huge opportunity for so many people. Still is. The organization, the business center is still doing the good work. And I will say I too have Shirley Brooks to credit for so much of my growth and exposure as a business owner. There's something about that woman that has an innate understanding on how to nurture even the most refined business owners, to push them, pull them, and direct them and expose them. And I absolutely honor her for that work that she's done and that she continues to do within us as we continue to move on. I know she's watching us as we go. I know she's not in our ear calling us every day on, but I am grateful for her and I pray she's really enjoying this phase of her life as well as she is just watching the fruit at this point. She used to watch us and chime in on socials and come to events and things like that. Like I love the fact that she's just such a rock. And for those of you that have had an opportunity to engage with Shirley Brooks, she is a phenomenal business mind and financial mind. Like she absolutely is. Now let's talk about this because I learned of you from that perspective. I did not know your story at all. Much of your story I did not know up to this point. I knew where you were from. I knew you how just about how long you've been here. But what I didn't know, Michelle, is the level of resilience that you've had to exhibit as you moved forward. And so I want to come to today, right? So understanding that 2020 prevailed as the year of Michelle, so to speak. And and now 4 years later, we're having this conversation here on the Smart Talk podcast, Michelle. I'm excited. We've had some programs that we've actually been able to go into a working relationship on in our last year and looking forward to more opportunities in this year. But I'm excited about the way that our ecosystem gets to serve one another, so to speak. I would love to hear, Michelle, the way that you've served others. Help us understand more from a practical standpoint. What is it that you do to make sure that you're being served, that you're serving yourself, that you have support? What does that look like for you? What's that back end infrastructure? Because you may put on a cape and be a superwoman for those of us in business, but what does that look like for you when there's no one to coach, train, or develop?
Wow, that's a good one. I have to say, I have a good partner that loves to cook and grocery shop. So I always have nourishment,
Yes, for
which
that.
is really important because, as we know, food can ruin your whole day. If you eat the
Yeah,
wrong thing, you're
absolutely.
out, you're done for the day. So that is major for me. And even when he has to go out of town, he makes sure he has stuff for me to freeze.
I
So
love it.
that's huge. I have really close girlfriends. A couple of them are also entrepreneurs. So we're able to share our journey with each other. Where one, she's actually in Pittsburgh. We recently became friends. And so we do a once a month call, a Zoom call, and support one another. I have a really good friend and business partner in Northern California. She was part of my journey as well in 2018, 2019. And we do Zooms and support each other and stay in touch. And then I have a girlfriend here locally where we do stuff together in person. And we joined the golfing league. So tonight is after this is our first night of participating in that golfing league. Neither of us have golfed in probably over a year. So
I love that.
but that's what I like to do is just meet with my girls, talk about business, talk about life, talk about our struggles, laugh, and we'll get in person, definitely have a glass of wine or champagne.
Nothing wrong with either of those at any point
Yeah,
in time.
and a
I
little
love
side
that.
note, I'm also certified through the Texas Wine School as a wine and spirit as education trust specialist.
I
So
love it.
that's my other passion in life is wine.
Are
And
you really? How do
mhm.
you normally, how does that show up for you? Do you get involved in the Texas wine events? Are you heavily involved in the wine community here in Texas? I know we have just up the road, we have some of the best wineries in the country. How does that look for you?
This time around, I'm in the last year and a half, I have not been that active. From 2013 to 2015, I was very active in the wine. I consulted with a couple of wine bars. I helped consult one that was opening up. I was their wine consultant that did their wine lists, all the tastings and educating of their customers and their staff. So that was a lot of fun.
How fun.
Yeah,
How
and I did a lot in
fun.
California as well. I even had a wine consulting business for a little while, but I had to pivot from that because I had to focus more on this business, and I lost a little bit of that in the process. And then I was doing a lot of traveling, so I couldn't commit enough time. So now that I'm stationary back in Houston, because I was back and forth with LA for a little while, now I'm stationary full time in Houston. I'm looking to do a pop up wine bar here locally.
Oh, how phenomenal. How phenomenal. I've met one, I've met other Texas wine specialists and a sommelier, and I've learned a bit. I've learned so much about champagne.
Oh, yes.
Specifically, I have one of my really dear friends and sisters. She's an expert when it comes to champagne,
Ooh.
and she is an educator when it comes to that and champagne, wine, other spirits. But definitely, that is her jam, and it is so interesting. And I'll just digress for a moment. There is a champagne bar in Chicago. And when we went there, I'd never gone to a champagne bar before because I didn't realize how many different variations, right? There were. But one of the things that I love is how passionate those of you all that are educated in this space are about it and how willing you are to educate others when we are enjoying a glass. It makes me feel empowered to have the glass and to feel like I actually know the right questions to ask, the right food to pair,
Yes.
and the right expectations to have. But I think that's pretty exciting. I did not know that. Michelle, you are full of little known facts today. I'm excited about that and excited about you popping up a little wine bar.
Oh,
So,
yes.
I have a question for you because the way that I've really gotten to know you is around your business acumen. And when we talk, one of the things I've heard you say is, Kyra, I want to make the transformation and see the impact in the person that I'm working with. And my question for you is tell me maybe a story or give me a moment in time where you knew you had made significant impact in the life of a business owner. Give us a little bit, take us there.
Oh gosh, I didn't think to prepare on that one. Because as soon as you said that, I have all of these stories that just went through my mind. That's hard. That's hard because
Yeah.
there's so many. Let me go with an organization. And,
Okay.
and Joseph Simmons, when he gets a chance to listen to this, he's gonna laugh because I always give him a hard time. But he is the founder, and I made him now dub himself executive director of the Center for Micro Entrepreneurial Training organization out of Orlando, Florida. That's another organization that I was introduced to during the pandemic from this wonderful gentleman named Lionel. Lionel and I were members of the same BNI, Business Networking International group, and he introduced me virtually to Joseph. Joseph had just started this nonprofit, and it was the Entrepreneurial Business Accelerator. It was a cohort that he would do, and it's 5 days, span of 2 weeks, but 5 days, 3 days the first week, 2 days the second week, and he does it every 6 weeks. I've been a part of the very first one, and we just finished off our 20th yesterday.
Wow.
So I've been part from the very beginning. And my role with that organization has gone from a volunteer to now a paid facilitator to now their fractional chief operations officer, as well as program manager and developing program. So I would like to toot my own horn, pat my own self on the shoulder.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that Joseph would as well, that organization, I've made a huge impact. And the beauty of that is so we're saying 20 cohorts, and 20 cohorts I have
Mhm.
impacted individuals and entrepreneurs within each of those cohorts. And I can confidently say that because I meet with them afterwards. I offer every single one of them a 30-minute free consultation with me, and we also have a one pager business plan that they fill out just to get their juices flowing and to think about
Mhm.
it. And so I give them that free overview of that one page, how they answered that, as well as any pertinent questions they have that they can do in that 30 minutes. So that I would say first to mind is working with the Center for Micro Entrepreneurial Training at Joseph Simmons
Wow.
and all the entrepreneurs that have come through that program.
Well, Joseph Simmons, huge shout out to you and the work that you're doing to make impact. And huge shout out to you, Michelle, for the impact that's been made, the continuation and the consistency. And I can only imagine that from 1 to 20, it's only become even more incredible and
Yes.
that the impact has become more incredible. Tell us again the name of that program for those that are listening.
Okay, so it's called the Center for Micro Entrepreneurial Training, but we go with CMET, CMET, the acronym. And the program is the EBA, and it's called Entrepreneurial Business Accelerator. And our
Awesome.
next one is in July. I don't have the exact dates, unfortunately, but we just finished one. But if you go to Eventbrite, you'll find us, or you go to LinkedIn, we'll find us, or just Google tcmet.org and you can find the organization as well. And it's wonderful. It's free. It's 5 days. We have amazing facilitators that discuss all things business. And it's a lot of fun. It's energizing. And I'm a hoot on there because I always give Joseph a hard time throughout my whole presentation, live and laughing so they don't get bored.
Don't get bored. Let me ask you this. Is it for what stage of business do the business owners need to be
So
to
this
participate?
is actually is most beneficial for those that have been in business at least 6 months, or if you've been doing it as a side hustle, you have some interaction with your business, you've had some understanding of your market, that you have your business has been set up or you're operating as a DBA. And you can be all the way up to being business 5 or 6 years because you never know what you didn't know when you started it and you're trying to backtrack and get yourself in compliance and back on track. Or if you're growing and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I need some guidance. It's also good for that as well.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I love the process of community learning. And I think that cohorts are so effective when it comes to developing business owners. And matter of fact, Michelle, you had a chance to work on our last iteration of our accelerator in the fall of 2023. We were in the Chicago market.
Mhm.
And I'm excited about that. We have our next one coming up in fall of 2024. So more to come on that. We'll talk about that. But
Yay.
the world of accelerators and the ability to grow in a community of learners and business owners that share in similar issues and challenges as well as successes is important. And if that accelerator opportunity speaks to you, I definitely encourage you, take a look, get involved, connect. Michelle will be there, connect with it and learn more. Michelle, before we get too far into this closeout, I have a question. What is that one thing, Michelle, that you would do without money, if money was no issue, the one thing you do if time was no barrier, the one thing you do if your mindset didn't challenge you against it? What's the one thing that you do, Michelle, as a smart CEO in this world?
Continue to give away free knowledge and budding entrepreneurs. I love doing it. I can be so tired, but if I have calls through the Women's Business Center or there's some of the other organizations that I volunteer with, G Beta, Mass Challenge, the Houston Community College Business Plan Competition, I would continue to do that and on a greater scale. If I never had to worry about money, that that would be it for me. I would be
I love it. What a heart of a brilliant CEO to give and to understand the value of giving information that changes the lives of others. And you fit the epitome of a smart CEO in our world. We always want you to keep it monetized now, but we
yes.
do think that the joy that comes from filling your sails with wind and giving you lift is powerful. So that gives you life, which in turn gives other people life. And people can tell when you're doing something you love, and they can tell when you're doing something that you don't, and they can tell
Exactly.
how that feels. I know how you made me feel, and that therefore impacted me forever. So that is the thing that will last. And so Michelle Chenault, Michelle Management Consulting, you, my dear, are just an absolute butterfly of brilliance. That's what I'm going to call you from now. When it comes to serving others, understanding the dynamics of business, foraging forward and trailblazing your own path on a non traditional route to not only educate yourself, but to find your lanes of solutions.
Yes.
And so, what people might not have heard is that you are a technical writer when it comes to RFPs and proposals. You are, in some way, you may pull that political hat out again. I don't know if she'll ever do it, y'all, but she might. We'll see. But then also in the world of business, she is a trailblazer and leader, cultivating the lives of business owners to get them to a position of consistent development and success. And Michelle, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Smart Talk podcast. I am absolutely excited to call you my friend and more thrilled to call you a smart CEO.
Thank you, Kyra. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Smart Talk podcast listeners. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you pay attention to all the show notes and details. Michelle dropped a lot of stuff. We'll put the links in there for you. And we'll also make sure that you are on a mailing list. So if you're not signed up and connected to us, do let us know where you heard the podcast. We want to know more. And guess what? We'll see you next time on the Smart Talk podcast. Have an amazing day. Thanks for listening to Smart Chat. Smart CEOs, you are on your way. We hope this episode has been fantastic for you. We are excited that you were here. So here's the deal. Follow us on all of our social media, look up the Kyra Company, and join us on all of our private platforms. We invite you to join our private Facebook group at the Smart CEOs. Jump in, join the conversation, and learn more about what we can do every day to grow our business and grow our community. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited that you were here. Once again, I'm Kyra Hardwick, and you know it. I was thrilled to bring the Smart Chat to you. Take care. Talk to you soon.